And welcome back. In the last video I was working on the aileron service bulletin and got that completed. Now I am working on the rear spar for the right wing. Going through and making these are some doublers for the rear spar. There's two per wing, or two per spar I should say. So we're going to for those. It has you measure and mark a line on either side of these brackets. I believe they're for hole locations, but I don't recall, because I actually didn't get very far on this. As you'll see here in a little bit, run into some trouble with the rear spars. So just going through and measuring everything and going by the instructions. The rear spar is actually not too difficult. It's got a couple doublers all along the length of it. There's a forked doubler that goes on the root end, that it's a thicker piece of metal and it's stamped, so it's one of those that you have to put in a vise and straighten as best you can with a soft mallet and using the vise method. So here, get the spars that came with the kit. These are the rear spars. One's marked left, one's marked right. Pull off the, I'm working on the right wing, so get the right rear spar ready, and I'm starting to look at everything, make sure I'm all lined up, and I'm looking, and again, the instructions are written for the left wing, and so being that I'm working on the right wing, everything's kind of backwards, and you really have to focus to make sure you're looking at the right part and you're looking at it the right way. Well, I'm looking at the spar, and I realize that no matter which way I look at it, it's just not lining up with the way it should be. It's matching identically to the spar in the pictures, which the spar in the picture is for the left wing. And so I got both spars out again, looking at it again. One was marked left, one was marked right, and again looking at the sticker that I just took off. And I am trying every which way to make this make sense, and it just didn't. So that was the end of my work on the spars. In fact, took some pictures, posted it up on the forums at Vans Air Force, and representative from Vans, I believe Eric was his name, got in touch with me and said, hey, this is a common problem. We had a batch that were stamped incorrectly or stickered incorrectly, and no way to know who got what. So basically, as you go through, if you find that you have a part that's labeled incorrectly, more than likely it's a known issue, and just contact Vans and let them know what you found out. They've been really good about fixing the errors like this. So I've been, again, very impressed with Vans and their customer service. So it was really cool to have that representative contact me. I didn't even ask for him to call or anything. So that was the end of the work on the spar. So now I decided I'm going to work on the leading edge. I figured since I've already got the fuel tanks done, I can at least start working on the leading edge and just get the whole front end of the wing done, and get everything attached to the spar and be done with it. So I started doing the normal thing, getting all the ribs ready, deburring all the edges, the lightning holes, drilling the holes to a final size number 40 wherever they match up with the skins, and then deburring everything. Again, deburring is, you want to make sure you're doing it. There's debate whether or not it's necessary on the 14 and the 12 because of the machine precision tooling and all that, but still a good idea to go ahead and deburr everything. But I did go ahead and fast forward through a lot of it because there is a lot of stuff to deburr. And I think, as I'd mentioned in a previous video, looked at a quick built kit, wings and fuselage, and based on those edges, I don't deburr enough. So that's something I'll be working on going forward. I mean, everything I've done passes the bleed test, so to say. When you run your finger over it, you're not going to cut yourself. But definitely not quite as deburred as that quick build kit was. So anyway, going through, and like I said, just making sure everything is set. One of the things I come to realize, though, is that the first page, I believe, in this section has a note that says that you need a longer drill bit. I believe it's number 33 or 34. But you need a 6-inch drill bit for a specific step and I figured I'd just go as far as I could until I got to that point. Now this step has you actually notch out some of the spar attachment points, the rear flange of the ribs, both the top and the bottom part, and it's got specific measurements, and it tells you there's two separate ribs that get notches cut out of the rear flange, and that's what I'm doing here. I've taken my digital calipers and measured out the millimeters that the instructions tell you, and then you just cut those pieces off of the rear flange. You can see it there. And like I said, top and bottom of the rib. And then the second rib is slightly different dimensions, and I believe this is so it can sit over a bracket on the spar, but I don't recall. I'll have to look at the instructions again. But you just want to make sure that you're very careful on the measurements and double check that you're working on the correct one, because the measurements are just given you in a table, and it just tells you X1 and X2 and Y1 and Y2, and I think if I recall, the X's was the top notch, Y was the bottom notch, and 1 and 2 being the first and second rib. So just make sure you're looking at the right ones and going to the correct measurements. So far, I've got the fuel tanks complete for the most part. I still have to pressure test them. I've been kind of letting the Pro Seal set a little bit longer, but I probably can go ahead and test that this week on the left tank. In the right tank, I still haven't put the rear baffle on yet. I'm going to wait till I test the left one and then go ahead and finish up the right one. But it's almost complete. And then, like I said here, started working on the leading edge, but didn't get too far. As you'll see coming up here, again, missing some pieces that I had to order from Vans. So dimpling all the edges with the pneumatic squeezer, it's a nice tool. Again, I got this from my grandfather-in-law who built an RV4, and I've seen some folks do hand squeezers, and I don't understand you people. That's a lot of work, and this thing makes it so much easier. It's pretty useful. There's only a few spots that I've come across that I was not able to really use the squeezer. Either it's just a real close location, or the middle of the skins, obviously you're not going to reach with the squeezer. But so again, working on the leading edge here, I come to a point where I realize that I don't have all the parts I need. As you'll see here in a minute, I start looking around and realize that the J-stiffeners that I've used, apparently I didn't cut the right ones, and I am short a couple pieces. I don't have enough J-stiffener or long enough pieces left for the leading edges, so I had to order some more parts from Vans. Yay me. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let this run out here. Again, for those that continue to watch these videos, I appreciate it. Hit that like button for me, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell, and you'll get notifications anytime I put these videos out. And we'll see you guys next time.